Are you ready for a shift? Are you ready for real change? Well, if so, it's time for the Ready to Live show with your hosts, Dr. John E. Guns and success coach A.D. Roberts.
If you guys remember from last week, we were wrestling over whether we were going to do
theme music or not to open up. And we made a very important decision.
God bless you.
We're going to let you decide.
Yes, please send in all your requests.
Right. Yes, last week was intense.
It was intense.
And it's going to probably be a little intense this week, too, as much as we want to do the warm and fuzzy.
Well, you know, we always end with warm and fuzzy, so just y'all hang with us. Just stick with us and we'll be fine, all right?
My name is John Guns.
And I am A.D. Roberts, and you are listening to the Ready to Live show. We are happy to have you here with us. We are rocking and rolling.
Rolling and rocking.
Yes, even in this time where the world is in turmoil, we're dealing with a resurgence in coronavirus.
It is resurging.
That's what the numbers say.
That's what the numbers say.
That's what they say.
I need you not to be a cynic.
Okay. I'm going to be a cynic, all right? I'm going to be a cynic. But,
why? What's the purpose of being a cynic?
You got to have some balance. You got to always have some checks and some balances. You just can't tell me anything. And I don't care if it was on the news. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
But we still love each other, though, you know. That part.
Please do not touch me.
That's all right, though. That's all right. All right.
I will now get tested with my arm.
God bless.
I have to burn these clothes. No, seriously though. I mean, I don't know.
We have right here in Florida, we have the Republican National Convention
coming.
and it's coming. It should be very interesting because I'm pretty sure there are going to be some protests and all that good stuff.
It's going to be a lot of protesting.
Yeah. People from all over the country will be
the world.
Yeah. So
Jacksonville is not prepared. I don't think so.
I mean, what choice do we have? We don't have a choice, but it's okay. We'll make happen what needs to happen. It's been really stressful for a lot of us. We've seen even more, even what happened in Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate about what happened to the young man. I think what's happening is what's coming to the forefront is the natural fear that has been embedded in the African American community. Yeah. And this is, this man choosing to fight and flight.
Yeah, he had a lot going on.
He had a lot going on. Yes, he resisted. And they were saying that he fired the taser that he took from the police officer. But from my understanding, I'm not a cop. I don't have a taser thing. But I don't know if you can fire a taser twice.
First of all, it is considered a non-lethal weapon.
It's a non-lethal weapon.
And second of all, the man does the tasing, uses whatever he
discharges it.
Discharges, I guess that's the good word, the taser while running away.
You're not in fear for your life. It's non-lethal. So the choice to shoot him in the back was a choice.
What?
Right. So it was an absolute
choice.
It
was a bad choice.
It was a very, very bad choice, especially in this season. But again, there is this fear that men, I got to be honest. I don't feel comfortable riding down the street and them blue lights come on behind me.
Oh no,
not at all. That's you talking about scary. That's one of the scariest things that could possibly happen is to have those, being a black man in this country and having those blue lights flash on. I saw something very, very sad. I don't know if you saw it. It was on social media. It's gone viral. It was a little boy and he was playing basketball in his in his driveway, just shooting some hoops.
I haven't seen it.
He looked to be about Aiden's age, about 9 or 10, by himself, and his father was at work, but he was checking on him with the surveillance cameras on the house, just watching him play ball. And the sad thing about it was a police squad car drove down the street, because you can tell it's a very nice neighborhood because you can see the homes in the video. As the squad car rode down the street, the little boy stopped playing basketball and hid behind a car that was in his own driveway and let the police go by. And once the police went by, then he came out and played. What does that say?
Wow.
I mean, it really bothered me. What does that say where in the psyche of a 9-10-year-old little boy, he is programmed to be afraid of the police?
Well, I think a couple of things. I think the most obvious thing is the media portrayal of these shootings, of these murders.
Mm-hmm.
The indelible image of George Floyd laying on his stomach and life leaving his body will never leave people.
No.
And so I think that's part of it. I think the other part is this sense that the culture of policing in America is a violent, disrespectful culture.
It is.
And then I think the third thing, which is probably equally, if not more important than the other two, is the fact that the ability to trust authority is being eroded by authority's unwillingness to do the things to be trusted. And because I think that they don't do the things that can be, like, good example, just transparency with certain information. Like now everybody is, everybody's feeling like black guilty. But when that is lifted, what will be the responses of police officers or police departments? What would be their response when all of a sudden there's not the same scrutiny and tension, and there's not the same pressure?
Goes back to business as usual.
Yeah,
and that is a sad reality, and that's what we've been facing. And I want you to speak to this because this is a really challenging, very, very touchy subject, and this is, and this may be controversial even in this room. Speak to the fact that we start talking about solutions. How do we fix this? And we start getting this anthem. We've heard this anthem, and I've heard you mention, and I want you to speak to it, is get out and vote. Mm-hmm. And my point in asking that question is that I believe we have been voting. We've been voting since we were able to vote. Mm. We've been voting since we've been able to vote, and what's changed? So what's going to be so miraculously different this time that we vote, and then what? Because here's my thing, and I know some people may say it's not like conspiracy theory or whatever you want to throw in there, but it seems like there's always turmoil right before election time. If you look historically, these type outcries and outpourings of anger and frustration and fear, and they typically happen during an election cycle. So
I'm trying to think about that.
So if you what's, I don't want to say what's the point, but okay, I'm gonna speak for the people that can't speak. What's the point? If that's the case, what are we voting for?
Honestly, I think it's about exercising the right that was fought for by your foreparents.
I'm with that part, just out of respect. I'm with that part.
I think the other thing is that voting has at least created the illusion that we have the power to influence the direction of the country.
But see,
by who we elect.
And I love that you use those words. At least the illusion. But is that what we really want and need in this season? I think we're tired of the illusion. I think we are. I don't know. I think AD, that this idea of voting, it's really about taking ownership of
and being a partner with our democracy.
But then on the other side, we're disenfranchised. We're not a a beneficiary
of the economic realities.
Even the political, the justice system, through every system every system in this country, we are not the healthy beneficiary of these get out to vote.
Yeah.
Or the political stuff. We call ourselves holding these legislators accountable, but to what degree? To what degree? When you look at the numbers, because it's public record, you can find out the supporters and backers for any campaign.
Right.
So when you start looking, I think we need to vote with our dollars. I think that's where we are, where our level of efficacy then goes through the roof. Because historically, we voted by pulling a lever. And voting by pulling that lever has not gotten us anywhere, in my opinion. When you look at just where we are right now, it's 2020. And we're still wrestling with the same things that our parents were fighting for and our grandparents were fighting for.
It's interesting. I mean, when I've never looked at it like that, but I think the other thing is that I think to not vote is to give to put power in a small group in the hands of a small group of people who are going to vote. I think this time around the motivation to vote is called Donald Trump.
Okay, I got you.
I mean, and normally the motivation to vote is a candidate. It's not just
wow.
It's a candidate. I mean,
that's a terrible. That's a terrible. I mean, that's a beautiful analogy. But what does that say about the campaign of Joe Biden?
Well, honestly, I think what people are looking for now is empathy and compassion in the presidency. I think people are looking for a person with a heart. See, I've discovered this, and I believe this. You can surround yourself with brilliant people. Mm-hmm. But what you can't do is surround yourself with people who cover you up as a leader, who cover you to the point that you're perceived as a leader. Leadership comes out so organically. And I believe that when we look at Joe Biden, his willingness to provide leadership without sitting in the seat. And for me, leadership is speaking to the needs of the people who follow you or the people who trust you. It's about providing a sense of comfort, if you will, and walking people through the process. Finding someone strategic to help you is not as hard as it appears to be.
And this is, we definitely skew there, because I don't want to be lulled to sleep with comfort and beauty and wonderful platitudes by anyone. Show me your hand. Show me your hand, so I know what I'm dealing with. And
Donald Trump has showed you his hand.
He has shown me his hand, and I know exactly who I'm dealing with. Historically, when you look at, and you know this, some of the legislation that Joe Biden sponsored and helped to get by put a whole lot of black men and women in prison for a very long time.
Yeah, the mass incarceration.
Mass incarceration.
Yeah,
so and it's absolutely horrible, horrific idea. It's one of the worst times in American history when it comes to any type of one piece of legislation having an effect on a group of people. It was that legislation that he was right there along with. So, you can keep them platitudes. Here's where I stand. My posture is, as a token of respect for those that have gone before me and the marching and the protesting so that we will have the right to vote, I'll vote. But at the same token, this is what I need people to do. This is what I believe. We need to continue to vote with our wallets. If we vote with our wallets, then we will be able to affect some change socially and economically. And there are a lot of things, and I really would like to get into some stuff next week on some positive things that we can do economically together.
And that's what we need to start talking
Because
about.
I actually found some cryptocurrencies that are owned by and created for
not kryptonite.
not kryptonite, cryptocurrencies that are black cryptos.
Wow.
Right, there's one out of Atlanta called Guap. No, seriously. And I've been doing a little research over the last couple of days because the power is actually having your own money. And I thought to myself, how cool would it be if the African American community had its own money? I mean, if you looked at us like a country, we'd be like the 13th largest country in the world.
Ridiculous.
Right. So we move trillions of dollars through our community, but it doesn't stay here. But if we ever made the right decision to control our trillions of dollars of buying power,
That's true.
we would
Let's
be
talk about that.
We would then be a force to be reckoned with. I think that's what we're going to talk about next week. Listen, stay powerful.
Positive.
And listen, this is your season, irrespective of what's going on, irrespective of the political climate, the social climate, what's going on, with Pookie and Ray Ray.
We need Pookie and Ray Ray, though.
We need Pookie and Ray Ray right now. We do.
Because Pookie and Ray Ray ain't playing.
No, because they burnt the Wendy's down. Burn
it down.
And I'm sorry, but I don't have a problem with that this season. I don't. They got insurance. Everything is all right. But there's a message that needed to be spoken because that didn't need to happen. It didn't. Yeah. You have been listening to the Ready to Live show with my good friend, Dr. John Eric Guns and A.D. Roberts. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
See y'all next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today. You've been listening to the Ready to Live show. If you'd like to connect with Dr. Guns, visit him at bishopjohnguns.info. To connect with AD, go on over to brilliantliving.net.